We go, we're getting into our next game already, as it just happens to have started before our very eyes. It is a fresh series, 0-0. The winner of this series moves on to face Gumiho in the semis. Let's go. Spawning in at the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss representing Team Arbidos. It is NightMare. Ooh. Able to set it up just in time. See in the chat, Gumi God. It was crazy. It was actually crazy what Gumiho was able to pull off. Neither in game 1 or game 2, Solo was able to get into their regular game. They just weren't able to play things out at all. Just Gumiho being hyper aggressive overall, just being very offbeat and off-timed as well, just catching Solar off balance, and yeah, GG, well played. Really solid result coming out there from Gumiho. We are now getting into our next matchup, something that should be a little bit more standard, and already the first probe gets a kill in the SCV, and he wants more. He's not done. He wants another Bapi, so not the best start from ByuN, losing an SCV already. Last NightMare. He's just going to be sharking around, doesn't have too much health left to work with. Does get out of said main base back at home. We're just getting into our standard opener, getting into our gateway Cybercore expand. With this, we can wall off the net. We have walled off the Reaper Cliff, so we have no entryway in towards the main. Yeah, we're just getting into this. Also, ByuN does lock that probe into the main base, so he's going to be able to hunt it down, make sure the probe pays for its life for that SCV that was killed. But at least NightMare is able to confirm the double gas opener, the factory follow-up as well. And again, just being a little bit more annoying. With this, the Reaper does get out. And yeah, we kind of have a pretty standard setup overall. I say standard, of course. ByuN is going to be a little bit more aggressive with this. We can get into a faster starport as well, maybe even to a mine drop. We'll see what is made use of, or how this reactor is made use of. So we are getting to our CC. And we're not getting an add-on swap here. We're just going straight to our first mine instead. Reaper dips in, but the Adept is waiting for him, and ByuN does not get a scout. He doesn't get confirmation of what kind of opener we're going for. We can see that NightMare is going for a Twilight Council, not a Stargate. It should be going into Blink, and from here we'll see how many gates get thrown down. Only 2 for the time being. We do have quite a wide entryway into the main base, so we can commit into more of those gateways if we want to. While second Widow Mine is on the way, so it looks like ByuN is setting up for a mine drop, headed across the map. Reaper once again tries to dip in, but no, the Reaper will go down. Again, a great pickoffs here from NightMare, just keeping ByuN in the dark. As we are getting into that blink, and it looks like it's going to be a standard 2-gate expand. Very economic here from NightMare. With only 2 gateways, we can't really be too aggressive. We don't have a robo to reinforce, and we are looking to just take a third. Meanwhile, as NightMare moves out across the map, he's just going to get confirmation that we still don't have a natural base. ByuN loading up and going for that drop across the map. Yeah, we're just going to be chilling here back at home instead. We've got a Cyclone on the way, just in case it is a Stargate opener to deal with the Oracle or the Phoenixes. We have the Tech Lab on the way on this starport for, imagine, a Raven first. And there we go. It is going to be that Raven opener that ByuN does love. Doesn't matter what you're doing, if it's a Stargate or a Twilight Council, ByuN will make the Raven. Even if it dies. Don't worry about it. Drop is set up to head towards that natural, but we do have plenty of units here in position. But does NightMare react in time? Oh! As the drop does avoid the natural, go straight into the main base. NightMare does have eyes on this, and he will be able to pull away. And up, up! Oh, that was a slick blink. Oh my god, he blinks past the mines. avoids the shot, takes down the medevac, and he's looking to hunt down these Widow Mines as well. Damn, some really slick moves out of NightMare. Very impressive. We killed the initial SCV, we shut down the drop without taking any losses. Only one probe died, and that was the probe that was stuck in the main earlier. Very nicely done. As ByuN isn't done, he's going to be moving out with his Cyclone. After seeing Blink, ByuN is aware that, okay, I don't need to use a Cyclone defensively at home. Like, there's no Oracle or Phoenix coming, so we may as well be active on the map. At the same time, we also have that Raven going for a bit of counter damage as well. Again, recognizing that there is no danger of a Phoenix, knows that he can go for some auto turret harass. Here we go, the Cyclone slips into the natural base, but it gets fully surrounded by the workers. Ooh. The Cyclone goes down for only 2 probes. Not a good trade for ByuN. Meanwhile, the Raven is behind the main base, but looks like NightMare has caught wind of this. Let's have some Stalkers in position. Meanwhile, we don't really expect these Stalkers to be too aggressive, but they're going to be chipping away at this depot. Doing what they can. The tank will reposition, and this should force NightMare back. Oh! Oh my god, the range, papi. Oh my god. NightMare getting surprised himself as he does lose two of those Stalkers. Meanwhile, across the map, the Raven getting a little bit more damage done. The auto turret going uncontested. It looks like NightMare, he just wants to kill that Raven, but as a result, he's losing a lot of workers. Ooh, as he didn't react in his main base, 7 probes go down, and the Raven survives. NightMare just a little bit bloodlusted. A little bit tunnel visioned. As he was able to get into a faster robotics bay, and we already have disruptors. Our first 2 disruptors out already. Jesus. We saw this last night. To those of you who were here for OSC King of the Hill, NightMare, we were able to cast him against Spirit. And yeah, likewise, he did go for a similar opener. We do see him going into disruptors from here, just cutting some corners. It is a risky move for certain. Colossi a more consistent splash damage, disruptors a more high risk, high reward. And here we go. ByuN is setting up to lay siege upon the third base, but we have 3 disruptors waiting for him. That's a lot of Novas, as we do have the first tank going to be going down. The second tank will fall as well. The Raven does get sniped before any kind of spell gets thrown down. And NightMare just completely shuts down this push. We still have a lot of Marines left over. We have Marauders as well, but ByuN is able NightMare is able to hold on. As we get into this, a massive shout out to Vindicta. Miguelito! Ah, papi! I wanted to cast you versus DRG. I hope you had a good series. I was really excited about you going up against Dong Reigu, the Dong himself. I hope you had a good time. I haven't seen the results, and I'm obviously aware that you finished streaming, but I hope you had a good time for yourself. Hope you enjoyed yourself, Papi. GG. GG, Papi. As we are, of course, in the midst of ByuN versus NightMare. ByuN's tank push getting shut down. Still going to be threatening with his army. We do see NightMare taking his 4th base behind this. The disruptor count getting quite high at this point. We are up to 4. We should be starting Colossi momentarily, as ByuN is rotating around, and NightMare hasn't quite spotted the army yet. But he does have a lot of vision out on the map, and here we go. He does confirm the location of the army. Does force ByuN back. And hey, apparently 4 disruptors aren't enough. We've got a 5th on the way. All the Novas. Oh god! Oh! A massive connection on the Widow Mines on the ByuN army as well. Oof. And with that, ByuN is just being forced back. We see a Zealot run by being set up here on the right-hand side of the map as well. We do have a tower on the way, but I don't know if it's going to finish up in time to really catch this run by. For the time being, the armies are dancing with each other. Mind Shell can be baited out by that Zealot. Another Nova goes off. Ooh, shaving off some of those ByuN units. Not getting too many, but as the armies do clash, we do have that Zealot run by just wreaking havoc at the third base. Only gets 3 SCVs, but does force some more lost mine time. NightMare does rotate on over, and it looks like 5 disruptors is the magic number. We're finally now getting into Colossi production. 2nd Robo's on the way. No extended thermal lance yet, but I'm sure we'll get it soon, momentarily. As NightMare, as he saturates his 4th base, we have a 5th on the way as well. Yeah, still looking to catch that army. Does have a spotter zealot here on the left-hand side, but NightMare doesn't quite see where ByuN is until now. Setting up another zealot run by, repositioning his army at his 3rd. And behind this, ByuN is getting into Ghost production, you know, getting into our EMPs. Ghost already on the way, does catch that observer. And we even have those mines set up for that zealot run by. So great foresight from ByuN. Ooh, but his army is being caught out. 2 medevacs do go down. And we are forcing a fight. No ghosts are with this, but it looks like NightMare won't commit. Instead, he rushes in with his zealots, and it looks like he won't get too much economic damage done. He gets 3 Widow Mines instead. And not bad. But NightMare, he wants to take a fight. He's got the Disruptors. He's got the Novas. 5 of them. But how good's EMP gonna be? Does connect with the Colossi. Again, the Novas do push ByuN back. Oh god, is he looking? Up! Oh, this is gonna be so close. A massive Nova does detonate on the main army, and ByuN, he took a risk. He did focus on 2 of those Disruptors, but I don't think that was really worth it. As NightMare is pushing on forward with everything else. Another quick snipe on the Disruptor, but a Ghost falls. Both armies are hurting. It looks like ByuN is going to get another Disruptor. Only 1 remaining. But at this point, do we really need them? We kind of do. Especially with the EMPs coming out. NightMare setting up a bit of a surround here as well. Mayan's going to be going off. Decent connections here on the Zealots, but the Zealots come in from behind, and ByuN, he was bleeding out far too much. His army heavily overstimmed. I do feel like NightMare could have maybe collapsed on that, but no, he does back off. Instead, we get a Zealot run by into the main base. A massive warp in. And the production is on fire. NightMare has not turned around, by the way. He's still committing to the push. The mines go down. And instead of going for the 3rd base, it looks like NightMare is going to lay siege upon the natural instead. Risky move, especially with that Disruptor. Up! Oh, and another Nova connects. GG gets called, and NightMare takes game number 1. Some very impressive play from the very beginning. The way that he handled the mine drop, the way that he was able to handle the initial push as well that was threatening his 3rd base. NightMare really did pay off going for those faster Disruptors. And is 1 game away from eliminating ByuN in this tournament. Oh, aye. GG. But yeah, shout out to Vindictor. For those who don't know, he's of course a lovely American Terran player. Does stream quite often as well, and does a lot of content on YouTube. Has been recently judging the Team Liquid map contest maps, and has been, you know, uploading his thought process and his overall ratings and scores and critique and review of those maps. So really interesting content, really worth checking out on YouTube. Definitely deserves a lot of views, especially because of all the work that gets put into it. A very underappreciated job by Vindictor. So thank you, Papi. Thank you. Always job well done. As we are getting into our next game and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ancient System, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ancient System, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Protoss player representing Team Abydos. It is NightMare. But here we go. Yeah, NightMare having a really strong showing in game number 1. Looking really dominant, actually. Like, at every turn, ByuN was trying to be aggressive with his drop play, with his pushes, but NightMare was there waiting for him, reading him so well. And even here with the initial probe, we saw him get an SCV kill in game 1, almost gets another here in game 2, just being so annoying. Ay. Is going to be locked into the main base. There is no way out. But who is locked in with who? Because that probe, oh my god. That probe is on a mission, let me tell you. He's a killer. He wants an SCV, he wants it, Papi, and he does come back, but no, ByuN takes it seriously. Another worker is pulled, and NightMare is being forced back, but look at how many SCVs have been softened up by this one probe. Three in the orange. It's a menace. Get him out of here. Does NightMare just soften up another one of those SCVs? Unfortunately, won't get a kill, shouldn't get a kill, as Reaper comes out and cleans up that probe. Back at home, standard setup, going for a Gate Cyber Core Expand. Nothing too fancy out of NightMare. Welcome to the chat. Quack, Papi, quack. Obrigado. And from here, ByuN is going to be zooming across the map, trying to get eyes on what is going on. NightMare is switching things up entirely on Ancient System, which makes plenty of sense that it's going to be a larger map, so you can get away with a little bit more greed and a little bit more map control. NightMare is going for a Stargate opener, not a Twilight Council. Oh, let's go, Papi, let's go. We love it. Is going to be that Stargate, I imagine, into Phoenixes. We'll see if he goes for an Oracle first to be a little bit more aggressive initially. As ByuN makes a second Reaper and is looking to do some economic damage. He dips in towards the natural base. He's going to be threatening that mineral line. The Adept has arrived. And with the power of the second Adept, we should be able to protect that mineral line. Oh, cute micro there from ByuN, as Reapers do outrange Adepts. Fun fact. They are able to dance with it, and one Adept does go down. Oh, the Hellion will fall, but we already get 2 of those probes. We get 3. We can almost get 4. Up. Oh, Gasito. 3 probes for... was that worth it? So we got 3 probes for 2 Reapers and 1 Hellion. Was that worth it, Papi? Maybe, potentially, especially if we're able to do some more damage here in the middle of the map. As the mine does go off, takes down an Adept, and is going to attempt to escape. Scuttle away, Papi, scuttle. Across the map, the Phoenix is denied entry into the main base as well. The Marines were in position. This Wooden Mine will not escape. Ooh. After all said and done, again, ByuN is aware of the opener. He's got a Cyclone and Viking on the way to make sure he is safe and sound against said Phoenix. We see ByuN even attempting to hunt down those Phoenixes as he does move out across the map, forcing NightMare back. Forcing him to respect the army of ByuN. Behind this, we're getting to our 3rd base. Still continuing to work on our Phoenix count here, working up towards 5. This is quite a large army. This is quite a number of Marines. These are vanilla Marines, bear that in mind, so this isn't the most threatening army, but once we get that Cyclone, suddenly things will change. Here we go. ByuN, he lands the Viking, he rushes on forward. It looks like the initial Cyclone is going to go down. Up. There we go. Cyclone does go down, and we pick up what little is left here of the Marines. Good target firing, as I believe 1 Phoenix did fall, but only 1 Phoenix. This is where I have to question ByuN a little bit, because he threw away a Viking and a Cyclone for essentially a Phoenix there, and once again, not the best trades coming out from ByuN. I'm sure he was hoping to achieve a little bit more, but NightMare was very quick to pick up those Marines to make up for his lack of ground army. And now ByuN is on the back foot once again, as we know him to be. Despite the fact that it's a Stargate opener into Phoenixes, ByuN makes the Raven, because he has no fear. And it's going to be on NightMare to hunt that Raven down. He wants it, Papi. He wants it. Does have to be careful, though. There are plenty of Marines and Cyclones in position. We do get the lock on. Up! Ooh, and ByuN does snipe another Phoenix. Very fortunate that the weakened Phoenix was leading the charge, so a solid lock on there by ByuN. With that, I don't think NightMare has the firepower to really shut down that Raven. ByuN should be safe and sound to get into his 5 racks production off of 2 bases. Marauders are on the way, 3rd CC, about to finish up as well. Solid setup by ByuN. Back across the map, we're going in from Phoenixes, not into Colossi, but we're going to be getting into charge lots instead. And amassing a large amount of them. We do have +1 defense on the way, +1 armor even. For those wondering, it's kind of the same thought process as Carapace for Banelings, where really it's about making sure the Zealots can survive long enough to get on top of the army, get on top of the Marines. They have high enough DPS as it is. So armor is a little bit more important than attack in this situation. 4 charge lots. Here we go. NightMare is going to be looking to slip into that main base. Hasn't teched into Robo yet, or into like a Robotic Spay, into Colossi. Just going to be reliant on Phoenixes and charge lots. I'm sure NightMare is waiting for the moment when ByuN does attempt to expand and take the 3rd base. The army is moving out, is a little bit distracted by these Phoenixes, and as the distraction is occurring, we have NightMare looking to slip into the main base. Now there is a turret in position, so NightMare has to be very careful with how he queues this up. Oh, as he does take a couple of hits, but he is able to unload, and he can go for a warp in as well, but he will not go for it. Just taking down that turret. God, that prism took a lot of hits. And NightMare dives upon the 3rd base as well. ByuN being forced into his main base. Oh, but we do have a massive anti-armor missile on this army, and NightMare, he wants it though. He wants to push in. Ooh. With the wisest of choices, he will catch a medevac. He can't really engage with the main army, not with that anti-armor missile. He wants to, though. He comes in with some reinforcements. He has no fear. Up. A little bit mistimed, but we're diving on forward. The Raven will go down. We are going to be respecting the turrets, though. As NightMare backs up. But the entire goal there was to shut down those medevacs, was to get that Raven before it got too much value. As we get into the Colossi. Behind this NightMare, he's fully saturated on these 4 bases. Finally taking his gases as well. At least some of them. To get into that Robo production. We have a second of Robo on the way for a double Colossi or double Disruptor production even. So NightMare, he's just, you know, getting his production underway. And ByuN just struggling to hold on. I say struggling, like he's been able to hold on to his 3rd base, but he's been taking a couple of losses here and there. You know, he's been losing a medevac or 2, a Raven as well. Slowly it does add up. Oh, the Observer. ByuN is moving on now. He's got 1-1. Hasn't started 2-2 behind this. Bear that in mind. So, as a result, we are even in upgrades, but soon ByuN is about to get ahead. I'm sorry, NightMare is about to get ahead with that +2. ByuN instead going to be prioritizing his Ghost production. Ghost Academy is already done. We have 2 Ghosts being made at a time, but oh my god, that's so many Zealots. It's insane. NightMare does have eyes on the army. He is repositioning. He goes for a Zealot round by, and oh, he's forcing ByuN to turn back around. The entire army does return back home. This is giving NightMare so much breathing room. We're up to 3 Colossi already. We've got our 4th on the way. We should be getting into Disruptor soon. We do have a lot of Immortals, don't get me wrong, but that's what the charge lots are for. And here we go. Mine shots are going to be going off massive connections on the Zealots. But despite that, these Colossi are just going ham on the Bio army. My god. The mines, though, were pretty insane. Because of that, NightMare does have to respect the position of ByuN. Does have to back off. Consolidate his army, rotate back around. Oh, we do bait out the first mine. NightMare is getting ready for a bit of a surround as well. So to head towards the natural base. The main army is pushing on forward. We do have a lot of mines behind this. And some ghosts for EMPs. God, but the Colossi, they swipe away at almost every single Widow mine. The 3rd base is raised. The boys are being pulled. Good EMPs on the Zealots, but the Colossi, they just kite away. They just don't even care. Meanwhile, those Zealots are still not cleaned up. They get 9 more SCVs. NightMare focusing on his frontal assault. But the whole position on these Colossi has been insane. Again, ByuN just can't really contest this. He doesn't have any Vikings. He's got a handful of them. He's got 4 Vikings in total, but that's not enough. Not when there are this many Stalkers and Phoenixes. Okay, the Vikings are going to be able to push this back at least a little bit further. Once again, the CC is lifted. And now we can commit. Here we go. A massive EMP on those Zealots. The Colossi are pushing on forward as well. The Phoenix is trying to clean up whatever Vikings they can. As it looks like the ByuN army is breaking on through, but we have Novus. No! A massive connection on the Marauders. Another one as well. And it looks like we have too much Protoss. The Disruptors arrived just in time. GG gets called, and NightMare will take the 2-0. Oh my god. GG. NightMare has been popping off in the PvTs recently. This is not the first time he's taken down ByuN. And GG, of course, gets called once again. NightMare just, again, really impressive control with his army. A really impressive overall map vision as well. Able to keep up with the movement of ByuN. Constantly being in his face. Constantly being aggressive. Being very wise as well with when he does go for those Zealot run-bys, with how he controls them, making sure he doesn't overcommit. There was one moment where he took some massive mind shots to the face in the middle of the map where I was a little bit concerned for NightMare, but outside of that, really well done. Really well deserved. GG. GG, well played. As NightMare takes down one Terran, but now he's up against another, as he moves on to the semifinals to face off against Gumiho.